Welcome back, friends. On today's video, we're going to do a little service on my push mower. This is a Troy-Bilt. The model is a TB360. It's a 21-inch mower. It has powered rear wheels, and it has a system on the back that you can put a bagger on it, which I never use. I don't even have the bag anymore. And also you can mulch with it, with this down, and also has a chute that attaches there if you don't want to mulch, if your grass is too tall. But we're going to do a general service on this, something that I should have done at the end of last year and I never did. So this is pretty dirty, and no mower should be left this way over the winter, but I ran out of time and totally forgot about it. We're going to do a service today. We'll go over some tools first that we're going to use here and some of the parts, and then we'll get into this service. So some of the tools that we'll be using today is we have some safety glasses, some work gloves, some rubber gloves, Phillips and flathead screwdriver, a small putty knife that we can scrape the underside of the deck with, a small and a large wire brush to scrape some of that dried on grass, some assorted nut drivers, some assorted sockets, both 3/8 and 1/4 inch drive, some silicone lubricant that you can spray the underside of the deck with after we get it all clean, so it helps keep the grass from sticking to it, and then some penetrating oil in case we need it on some of the nuts and bolts there. 30 weight oil, a small funnel. We have a new air filter. We're just going to replace the blade on this. I have never replaced this blade on it. I've had it for 10 years. So we're going to replace the blade this year, and also a new spark plug. Some rags, oil drain pan, and then off to the side, which you see later, I have some sawhorses set up so I can put the lawnmower up on it. We're going to start this up, let it run for a few minutes, get the oil warmed up so it'll come out a lot easier. And then we'll start with the deck because we'll have to clean the bottom of that off the grass to get to the drain plug. And we'll get the oil out. Now, this is the test here. So I usually put stabilizer in my gas and everything when I use it, and I only use in my small engines is the ethanol-free gas. Like I say, this was not serviced at the end of last year, and it sat all winter. So let's see how long it takes to get it started. Okay, so it's starting to rain, so we're gonna make this quick out here. So safety first, we have our glasses on. We're gonna put some earplugs in. We're going to check our oil first. Oil level is good. Make sure we have some gas in it. We have gas in it. Now we're going to see how long it takes to get started. Okay, so we're going to just use a little bit of starting fluid here in the carburetor. Okay, so you saw that pulled it like 10 times and nothing. It usually starts within 2 or 3 pulls. So we took the air filter cover off and air filter off, gave it just a couple squirts of starter fluid in the carburetor. 1 pull started right up. So next, I'm just gonna prop this up in the air, get most of the big parts of the grass cleaned out from under it, and then we'll get it up on the sawhorses and we can get draining the oil out while we're doing other things to it. Okay, so I'm doing this by myself today. I don't have any help with my boys. 2 of them are working, one's at camp for a couple days. So what I did is I had a bucket 3/4 of the way full of ice melt from the winter. So I just tipped it up and I left that set on the handle to keep it up off the ground for me. Be careful, don't lay under it because that could always fall off or something, the dog running around. Let's get the underside of the deck cleaned up. Okay, so this is really bad under here. Like I say, I never serviced it last year, totally forgot about it. And you should never leave your lawnmower like this. So I'm gonna get some of that grass scraped out of there, and then we'll get it up on the sawhorses and get working on everything else. One other thing I forgot to mention is unplug your spark plug. I'm gonna get the wire brush. Okay, so I'm gonna spray the bolt for the blade and these other bolts under here with some penetrating oil. Okay, first we're gonna start with removing this blade. while we have it up like this. So what we're gonna use is this tool here. I have it in another video where I used it on my zero-turn mower to hold the blades while you loosen the nut. Sorry, there's such a glare from the sun here. For never having that blade off, that came off very easy. Okay, so here's that tool that the blade goes in here and it goes up on the side of the deck and has this that you just tighten and it holds the blade in place.
We got that nut loosened. Get that off and we'll be right back with you.
Okay, the bolt holding the blade on, just use the 5/8 socket on there, came right off. Now I'm gonna take nut off here and here and get this protective cover off. Okay, now we have that cover off, so I can get to there's a drain plug there for the oil, and we can check out our belt. From here, looks to be in decent shape. We're not gonna replace that right now. Okay, so from the back chute, which I have held open by a bungee cord, the oil drain plug is right there. So we're gonna get that out, and then we can drain the oil out. So that drain plug is right there. Okay, so that drain plug right here just uses a 3/8 inch drive ratchet. So I have an extension on it just so I can reach it easier. And then we're also going to open the dipstick for the oil to get some airflow through there. Okay, we're just going to let that oil drain, and we'll work on the top while that's draining. Okay, so we're going to start with the air cleaner. It's right under here. You just unscrew this, and then the air cleaner just pulls up off there. Pretty dirty in there. Let's see what a new one looks like. Here's the new one, and I'm going to link all these parts in the description. So how I got the correct parts were, what I did was I went on website and got my model number, serial number, put that in there, and it lists all the parts for it. And what I did was I took those part numbers, put them into the search in Amazon, and found them in there. And the biggest reason why I got them off Amazon is because I could get them the next day. So this is the old one, and here's the new one. Definitely needed change. This one comes with this plastic thing on there. I think that's for, yeah, that's it's probably the same filters used for multiple different motors, and this plastic probably just like I guess you'd call it a bushing or something, just to downsize it to fit over a different model, but won't fit over on mine. So we'll take that off, and then it fits right down over. That on there, throw away that, and then we will cover back on so we don't get any dirt down in there. Now we'll get that spark plug changed. Okay, so we're on the front of the lawnmower here. Here's the exhaust. Spark plug is right here. And it's just your standard 5/8 inch spark plug socket. And I have a little extension on it just to reach in there. And it's always a good idea to use the actual spark plug sockets because they have a rubber grommet in the top, because you run the risk of breaking that spark plug. And there's that old spark plug, pretty dirty. Double check the numbers on it. There's the new one. Put it in that socket. Here's a close-up of the oil plug. And like I say, it just uses a 3/8 inch drive ratchet. This is an extension. So looks like they have a little bit of the red type Loctite on there, so that doesn't vibrate out. So we'll get a little of that put on there. We'll get that plug put back in. Okay, here's what I use, the thread lock. It's the VC3, it's the red. So we'll put that on there and we'll just leave it set here for a few minutes. And we're gonna get this started back in there. All right, we got that drain plug back in, tightened down. We're gonna get it on the ground, do a more thorough cleaning on the underneath side, and get the blade back on it, get that cover back on, and then we'll get some oil in it, and we'll start it up, make sure everything runs. Okay, now we're just gonna clean this underside out a little better. Here's that oil plug, a little better view of it. Okay, we got that about as clean as we're gonna get it. We'll get that cover back on. Okay, we're gonna get that cover back on here. It just goes up in on an angle. Just spray it down with some lubricant. I didn't spray it before I put this cover on because I didn't want to get it all over that belt. Okay, that'll just maybe give us a little help with grass from sticking to that. Now let's get this blade on there. This blade has a pattern cut out of it to match there so it stays in there. It's got two little nubs to fit in these holes, and also the bolt has a little bracket that goes on the other side, and also the nubs fit in those holes. Line all that up. As you can see, I have that bracket on there to hold the blade while we tighten it. Spark plug is still unplugged. Put that nice and tight. We can remove this bracket. Okay, now the final part here is our filling it back up with oil. So we're gonna remove our dipstick. I use just 30 weight small engine oil, 4 cycle small engine oil. And we're just gonna add a little bit at a time until we're full. Okay, we'll let that settle for a minute. Check the level. Not touching the dipstick yet. While we're waiting for that oil to drain down, this is that blade removal tool that I was talking about. I'll give you a better. So all it does is, if this is your deck and here is the underside and your blade is here, it just goes in your deck or on the side of your deck. This is on the outside, this is on the inside, and your blade goes in here, and then you just tighten this on to the side of your deck, and then when you're turning the bolt that holds your blade in, the blade will turn up either side and hold your blade in place so you can really tighten it or get it loosened. You don't have to hold it, you don't have to wedge anything in there. Protects your hands. And yeah, I'll link one of these in the description also. They're fairly cheap. I bought this many years ago, but I think they're 20 bucks or less. I'll have to look, but I'll put a link to one of these in the description also. They're a great tool to have. Like I say, I use it from the little push mower to my 0-turn mower that has 3 blades on it. Works awesome. Check this oil again. Okay, it's showing in the operating range, but what we'll do now is we will plug the spark plug back in, and we'll take it outside, we'll start it up, let it run for a few minutes, and then let it set, and we'll check the oil and make sure the final level is good. Add any if we need, or if for some reason we added too much, which I don't think we did. can always siphon a little out. But we'll get the spark plug plugged back in. We'll get it outside, get it started, make sure it starts up. We'll let it run for a few minutes, and then we'll check the oil again after it settles. Plug this spark plug back up. Ear protection, and we'll give it a start. Okay, we ran it for a few minutes, let it warm up, get that oil all over. We'll just give it a couple minutes to settle. We'll recheck it, make sure we're good. Let's see what our oil's at. You see the two holes, that will be the low operating range, and that's full mark. So the normal operating range is in between those two, and we're just below the full mark. So everything is still all over the motor, warm, all that. So we'll let this set for a little while before we check and officially see what our oil level is. May need to add, may not. But we'll wait and see what that's like after it sets here for a while and settles down. Okay, let's do a little recap here. So this is my 21-inch Troy-Bilt push mower. Its model is the TB360. We did a general service on it. So we started out by, we checked the oil, made sure our oil was good. We had gas. It hadn't been run for a year, well, all winter, and we pulled it like 10 times, didn't start, gave it a little squirt of starting fluid in the carburetor, started right up. We let it run, get warmed up, get that oil warmed up for a couple minutes. And then we brought it back in, propped it up, cleaned a lot of the grass off the bottom of it so we could get to that drain plug. We removed the old blade, took that protective cover off that protects the belt, and then we could get to the drain plug. Then we put the mower up on some sawhorses so we could work better. We got that drain plug out, drained the oil out. While that was draining, we changed the air filter, changed the spark plug, and then we reinstalled the drain plug. We cleaned out some of the old grass. We got it off the sawhorses, got it down, finished cleaning the underside of the deck, reinstalled that protective cover around the belts. Sprayed the deck down with some silicone spray, just helps to keep the grass from sticking. Installed the new blade. We showed you the tool I use to hold the blade so you don't cut yourself or anything like that. We made sure throughout the whole process that the spark plug was unplugged so there wasn't a risk of it starting on us, especially with mine. Like I say, I've got a kill switch right there. My emergency shut-off bar, whatever you want to call it there, the cable went bad, and due to the cost of the new cable, I just wired in a kill switch. I removed all that, so this will, if you spun that blade, it would run the risk of starting because I don't need that pulled to start it. I don't let my kids use it, so I'm not really worried about it. It's just me. I would not recommend you do that, but for me, that's what I did. Yeah, and then we filled it back up with some oil. We ran it for a couple minutes while I cleaned up here, and then we brought it back in. The oil's in the operating range, but it's still, we didn't leave it set that long, so we're gonna leave it set longer, and then we'll check the oil and add any if we need it. Make sure you check your oil before you run it every time, and add as needed. Yeah, so that was the general service on my Troy-Bilt push mower. Let me know what you think. Anything I can do better, anything you guys do different, anything you liked, anything you didn't like. Would love a thumbs up, a comment, subscribe, help us out. I'm just getting this channel started. But we'd just like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.